This meeting is being recorded.
All right, and I will pass it over to our board president.
Thank you very much for helping us with our temporary technical glitches there, but we're getting ready to start. If all the board members could also turn on their video, at least we can see each other, even though we aren't able to be together today. And I want to thank our friends in Sacramento for shooting their rainstorm down here to Southern California. So we're living through only a quarter of what you saw. But good morning to everyone. And why don't we start the meeting by calling it to order? And I would ask Allison Lee to call the roll of the board.
Good morning, Steve Weeks.
Good morning.
Callie Mae Pham.
This is Callie Mae. Good morning.
Can you
We're
hear
still
me?
waiting on- Yes, thank you. Megan Ellis.
Good morning.
Tanya Fairley.
Good morning.
Reese Isbell.
Good morning, this is Reese.
Derek Matos.
Good morning, this is Derek.
Jackie Crabtree.
Good morning, this is Jackie.
And Christy Tran. Absent.
All right. So I believe we've established a quorum then. Today's meeting is going to be procedurally different than some of our other board meetings. Today we begin our meeting in open session, and we're going through the two reinstatement hearings first. Then we'll deliberate in closed session, and then we will reconvene in open session for the rest of our more traditional board meeting. I also want to make just a quick notice that I noticed we're getting a lot of schools and licensees also signing on to follow this meeting today. And we understand that the last few weeks, with all we've been going through with SB 803, has created a lot of questions that you may have on implementation. And I know you have many questions on the bill. While we're going to be discussing today as a board the implementation plan for the bill a little later in our agenda, please remember that this is a regularly scheduled board meeting and not a question and answer event for the bill. So we can't answer specific questions that you may have on this bill. So I'm sure there would be more follow-up where there will be question and answer sessions with all of our licensees and schools. So I encourage you to email the board with any questions that you may have so that we can try and get them answered. So at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to our administrative law judge.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. President. Just a point of clarification, does the board prefer that I call the matters in the order listed on the agenda or in a different order?
You can call them in a different order if you want. There's just two.
Okay, all right, so I'll go ahead and call them in the order they're listed. So I'll call just to provide the petitioner some idea of the procedural workup of today's hearings. I'll call the matters in the order listed. So Ms. Lowry's will be called first, and then Ms. Velador will go second. So when I call the case, we'll go on the record. We have a court reporter today, and then I'll establish a quorum for the record. And then Mr. Arthur from the Attorney General's office will introduce the petition packet and give a general summary of the discipline of the particular license or licenses. And then after he provides his summary, the particular petitioner will have her opportunity to present her evidence in support of her petition. And then after the petitioner provides her testimony, Mr. Arthur will have a chance to ask any questions he may have And then the board will have an opportunity to ask any questions. And then I'll give the petitioner another opportunity in case something else has come to mind in terms of testimony during the questioning. And then after everybody's asked their questions and the petitioner has presented all her evidence, the matter will be taken under submission, and then the board will deliberate in closed session. So it's important for the petitioners to understand that a decision will not be issued today, but will be issued later in the future. Okay. And then, of course, if any of the petitioners have any questions, I'll invite them to ask those questions when their matter is called. Okay. So let's go ahead and call the first matter. First, Mr. Court Reporter, if we could go ahead and go on the record. And I'll call the matter of the petition for reinstatement of Linda Lowry.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So Ms. Lowry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. Before I take a roll call to establish quorum, I wanted to make sure you understood or you heard the general procedural outline I provided.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you have any questions as to the procedure?
I do not right now.
Very good. If you do have any questions, then just let us know. All right. So we are here on the record before the State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology, Department of Consumer Affairs, in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of Linda K. Lowry. It's agency case number PR 2022-1222. It's OAH number 2021-100185. My name is Corin Wong. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings. May I please take the appearance from the Deputy Attorney General.
Good morning, Philip Arthur, on behalf of the Attorney General.
Good morning. And Ms. Lowry, just for the record, I want to make sure you can hear us.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So to establish a quorum of the board for the record, I'll go ahead and call roll and ask that each member respond audibly after his or her name is called. President Weeks?
Yes.
Vice President Pham?
Yes.
Ms. Crabtree?
Present.
Ms. Ellis?
Present.
Ms. Fairley?
Present.
Mr. Isbell?
Here.
Mr. Mikos?
Here.
And Ms. Tran? And so Ms. Tran's the only one absent. We do have a quorum for the record. All right. So let me get back to the video. Okay. Mr. Arthur, do you wish to begin with your summary and presentation of the petition packet?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah. A brief statement before I do so, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm appearing on behalf of the Attorney General in accordance with Government Code Section 11522. I'm here to assist the board in fact-finding. My role is not adversarial, but is intended to protect the public interest. I'm here to ensure the board has adequate information from which to make a decision. Now to introduce the case, thank you. Lowry became a licensed manicurist on February 9th, 1987. On March 12th, 2008, Ms. Lowry was issued an establishment license for Linda's hair, nails, and reflexology. Effective April 13th, 2020, both licenses were revoked through a final decision of the board, which was based on an accusation alleging that during a board inspection on February 26, 2019, Ms. Lowry refused to permit the inspection, failed to comply with the Barbering and Cosmetology Act, and committed unprofessional conduct. Ms. Lowry has paid the full amount of cost recovery owed from that case, and she now seeks statement of her manicurist license. If I could please have marked as Exhibit 1 the petition packet in this case.
The packet will be so marked. And
Thank you.
Do you wish to move it in at this time?
Could I just briefly summarize what it consists of, Your
Sure.
Honor?
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. So the Exhibit 1 consists of the petition itself, which includes a letter from Ms. Lowry, 3 character reference letters, and Ms. Lowry's barbicide COVID-19 certification dated September 22nd, 2021. Exhibit 1 also includes Ms. Lowry's license history certification, the final decision in case number B as in boy, C as in Charlie, 2018-5316, revoking Ms. Lowry's manicurist and establishment licenses, as well as the underlying accusation. It includes correspondence between the board and Ms. Lowry regarding today's hearing. And finally, it includes the notice for today's hearing. And now I would like to move to submit Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Okay. Ms. Lowry, do you have any objection to Exhibit 1 being admitted for all purposes?
No.
Okay, 1 is so admitted.
Because the burden is on Ms. Lowry, I have no further statement, but would reserve the right to question her.
All right, very good. Ms. Lowry, now's your opportunity to present your evidence. First, did you have any additional documents you wanted to have marked and admitted?
No.
And did you bring with you, or do you have present on the hearing or on the WebEx any witnesses that you wanted to call on your behalf?
No, didn't actually know that was a possibility, but no, I don't.
Okay, so let's go ahead and swear you in and have you make your statement first, or now, if you'd raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you may put your hand down. If you would start by stating and spelling your full name for the record, please.
Linda K. Lowry, Linda Lowry.
Very good. Ms. Lowry, now's your opportunity to present any testimony you would like to present in support of your petition. The one thing I'd like to remind you of is that what the board is most interested in is any rehabilitation you have undergone since your license was revoked. Okay? So with that, whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Okay. I'd just like to start by saying that you guys have my letter, but just to one more time say I've been employed for 30 years. I've not worked since July of 2020. My husband's business, some savings, and with the grace and generosity of family and friends, has gotten me through this last year financially and mentally. I made a mistake, a really bad mistake, and I'm very sorry for that action. And after a long time of terror and no income for the last year and not doing my life work, I realized how wrong I was. However, I started searching rules and regulations online, but due to COVID-19 and staying at home and being very safe, as everyone was, I did access some books and tapes, and I studied the best that I could. So I've done that. I've never been in trouble in all the years that I've been in business, which has been 30 years. I hope that that goes in favor of my case. I have rehabilitated, and I will never, ever make that mistake again. I just would like for the board to know that I know it was the lack of transparency that got me in this boat, and it's going to be full transparency is the only thing that's going to get me out of it. I have nothing to hide. I'm very proud of my work that I've done in my community with seniors and the people in the community that I've helped with benefits and stuff like that. So I've been very charitable in my community, and I love to work. I mean, I love to be there. I love the people I work with, and I need this license so I can get back to work so that I'm not dependent on the state or whoever that's going to take care of me. So I'm just asking that I hope the board, with some grace and some understanding and some willingness, will allow me to continue my work, you know, just as soon as I can, you know. I mean, I've been licensed for decades with no trouble whatsoever. As you stated, I have letters of reference, and they're from my community members, and they will tell you that my salon's always been really, really good, very neat, very clean. I'm eager to get back to this. I was being told by my spouse, by an attorney, and some other people in the community that I could ask for the appointment for the inspection. I now am fully aware that that is not true and that that advice was just flat out wrong. Like I say, I'm looking for some grace and understanding from the board and advice even, you know, because I honestly deem the board trustworthy, and I just made a horrible mistake. I know that the board is a licensing agency and they have all the authorization to do inspections at any time, every day, if they want to do so. So I just want the board to know that I'm willing to take remedial classes. I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to get back into my business as soon as I can. I searched during the last year, like I said, for classes, but during COVID, they were not readily available to me. And like I said, I know it was a lack of transparency, and I definitely intend to have full transparency from this point forward. I also like to say that I have built a rapport with Anthony Galvin, the probation monitor, and I feel that I can call him with any concerns that I might have. I know that he's going to be very eager and willing to help me. So that also, just so the board knows, I'm willing to do that at any point in time that I need to. I, like everybody else you were speaking of earlier, have also researched SB 803, and so that I will be prepared for all the new rules and all the licensing requirement, you know. So, like, I mean, I know that you're going to increase the board to 13, and that's going to probably be a very good thing. So anyway, I have studied that. I did get the Barbicide COVID-19 certificate during this time. So, and like I say, I'm willing to do what I have to do. And I just hope that the board can have a lot of grace and understanding and forgiveness. Thank you for your time.
All right, Mr. Arthur, cross-examination.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Lowry.
Good morning.
What have you learned since the revocation of your licenses that will assist you in not repeating the conduct?
Oh, I've learned that the board is absolutely 100% in control, and that the monitor can come into my salon at any point in time that she chooses to do so. I have learned not to listen to anyone else except the board members and Anthony Galvin, who has been a great help to me. I have learned that I am just, you know, here to service my community, not to try to change all the rules and the regulations. I don't know. I just made a horrible mistake, and I will just never, ever do that again. That's probably the biggest, largest thing that I have learned.
And kind of in line with my last question, what assurances can you offer to the board that similar misconduct will not be repeated?
You can be assured that I have this last year just, you know, done everything I could do in my power within my own being, as far as I've even talked to other attorneys, I've talked to a lot of people in the business, and you can be assured that my door will be open. I will be an open book. I will not ever allow this to happen again. I will take classes, whatever the board says I need to do. So I'm just going to be an open book. I mean, like I said, it's going to be the lack of transparency got me into this. Now it's going to be fully transparent. fully transparent at all times.
Why do you want your manicurist license reinstated?
I want them reinstated because I love my work. I want to work. I have senior citizens that I need to get back to and help them in the community. I have some handicapped people that I would like to help again. I actually donate a lot of time and certificates and things like that to my community, schools, senior citizen centers, churches, and I want to be able to do that work. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I just want to be able to, I want to be able to earn my own living. I don't want to be dependent on the state or anybody else to have to take care of me. But I need to get back to work to make that happen. I want to be one of those people who've been out of work and who want to get back as quickly as I can.
And then during today's your letter with the petition packet, you refer to the fact that you made a mistake. Just so it's clear for the board, what was that mistake?
The mistake was that I told Miss Medina that I would like for her to make an appointment. I mean, I am very busy when I was in my salon, very busy, 60, 70 hours a week. And I just made the mistake. I thought that with some advice of trusted people in my life, they said that I could ask for that. They encouraged me to ask for that, one of the people being an attorney. And I did ask for that. And that was huge. And that will never happen again. Never. Never.
And then during today's testimony, and again, also in your packet, you've referred to the fact that you've never been in trouble before, but you acknowledge that you did receive before the accusation, 2 prior citations for refusing to permit a board inspection, right?
Yes, I do acknowledge that, which is all part of this, that I, same problem.
And then earlier, referring to, you've studied a lot of like and such. Can you describe specifically studied?
Well, I went online and I did find some rules and regulations. And then I just went online and I just was looking everywhere for salon rules, salon regulations. What are the cleaning rules, if you will? And there's not a lot out there, quite frankly, that you could read, but I tried. I went to local libraries when they were open and I tried to find books and stuff like that. I do have a lot of manuals from when I was, starting out, not a lot, but I have one. And then I read that. I've worked with, not worked with, that's not true. I talked with other salon people, hairdressers, manicurists, and I asked them, can you give me tips on cleaning and can you give me some help? So, in regulations and all of that. And of course, they were trying to be very helpful. So there's not been a lot that I've been able to do during COVID, but I've constantly, been searching for how I can make this amends and never, ever have to do this again.
And then my last question, it's something I think you've kind of addressed during your testimony, but if your petition is granted and your license is reinstated, and then if it were to be placed on any kind of probationary terms, what assurances do you offer to the board that you would comply with those probationary terms?
You can have my 100% assurance that I would take classes. I'll do whatever I have to do. Like I said, it was a lack of transparency, and I know it's going to be full transparency that's going to get me through this situation. I can promise you that I was in business for 25, 30 years before I got into this situation with listening to people that I shouldn't have been listening to, and I had no problems. And that I can assure you will happen again. I don't know that I'm going to be working another 30 years, but the time that I have left, it will be like it was. I mean, I don't know why I'm asking you to believe me or trust me in that, but if you just look at the record before this situation came up, you can see that I never had a problem like that before. And I will promise you this will never happen again.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I just say one thing more?
Of course, I was about to ask you if there's anything else you wanted to say on your behalf, so go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry for butting in. I apologize.
Not a problem.
I would just like to say that I would like to ask the board to consider to not put the stipulation that I would never be allowed to have the establishment license again in this. I would like to think that maybe after some rehabilitation and some probation and taking the classes or whatever it is that the board needs me to do, and I will do 100%. I would just like to ask that you would have, maybe that would not be a part of this. Thank
All
you.
right, Ms. Lowry, is there anything else you wanted to say on your behalf?
I could one more time tell you that I'm very sorry for my mistake, very sorry. And like I said before, it will be fully transparent. I hope with the grace and understanding of people that they can realize that I, like maybe one or two other people, have made mistakes, and I'm willing to make amends in whatever fashion means that I have to do to make that happen.
All right, thank you. Mr. Arthur, did you have anything further on recross?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I'll turn it to the board for any questions. First, Mr. President, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have one question. It's interesting to see that you decided that you can't deny inspections if an appointment is not made, and I appreciate that you researched and found that out. But you is your establishment a partnership? As I saw another name.
It was, it no longer will be.
It no longer will be. Okay,
Correct.
okay. All right, that's the only question I had.
Thank you.
Great. Madam Vice President, any questions?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Crabtree, any questions?
Yes, good morning. The one thing I wanted to ask you, Ms. Lowry, is I myself have been in the industry for 30 plus years and have had in my salons inspectors come in all different times. I just want to make it sure that you understand the reason the inspectors come in isn't just to, find issues. They're really wanting to try to make sure that the health and safety of the consumer is at the utmost taken care of. Do you understand that as to why they come in?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So in the future, just know, if you were to get your license back and now that they can come in at any time, it's just to make sure that you're keeping everything for the health and wellness of the community, because there is a lot of things that we know of bacteria and infections that happen in manicuring. So it's something that we like to make sure that is being taken care of. So I just want to clarify that if that were to be given back to you, to like you were saying, talking to Mr. Galvin about, there is a self-inspection checklist that you can get as well to make sure everything's in compliance.
Yes, and I would love to get that list. And as far as I know, I mean, I pretty much have always been in compliance, but absolutely would do that list and do a check regularly.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you.
Ms. Ellis, any questions?
No questions at this time.
Ms. Fairley, any questions?
Hi, yes. Mrs. Lori, hi, my name's Tanya Fairley, and I too have been in the industry for quite a while. And I just have a quick question, because I'm reading here and it looks like this last violation was actually your second refusal to have the inspection done. Is that correct?
It was.
So after the first time of refusal of inspection and you paid the fine, did you not do any research to find out what the rights of the board is at that time?
I knew what the rights, I thought I knew what my rights were, And like I said, and it is 100% wrong. And I know that. I thought that I had the right, as I was being told, to have an appointment so that it wouldn't interrupt my client's time. And that was absolutely wrong. That was wrong. I was being told that. It was wrong. I made that mistake. So yes, I was 100% wrong, and I realize that, and I'm willing to amend whatever I have to do. And yes, I do know they have the right to come whenever.
So my question to you was, did you discover that after the first time, the second time, or this third time?
Actually, I didn't think after the first time. I thought I still had that right. So it was after a lot, probably the second, the third time. I mean, that it's like, okay, this is not right. I really have to let them come back in. So yeah, it was bad on me. Yes.
Any further questions, Ms. Fairley?
I'm sorry, somehow I hit mute. No, that was my last question. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Isbell, any questions?
Just one. Good morning. You had mentioned that you had spoken with a number of lawyers over the years who had given you different advice in regards to what you can and can't do regarding inspections. Do you understand now that the board's role is the one that you need to follow, and that if you have questions, you can contact the board or your probation officer or appropriate channels and take that into the serious consideration?
I absolutely understand that now. I don't know why I thought attorneys were like the end all and that they knew. They clearly don't know about this particular business. So yes, and I know that I can call Mr. Galvin at any time, so he says, and I believe it because he's been very helpful to me and he would help me with anything. I don't ever intend to listen to somebody outside of this business, outside of the board of cosmetology, because they don't know all the rules and regulations of this business. So yes, as I've said, lack of transparency was the problem, but that's not going to happen again. So yeah, I do understand that it is the board has 100% of the rights and the rules and regulations.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, Mr. Matos, any questions?
Yes, good morning. Thank you. I just have one question. Ms. Lowry, as an industry member, I think we definitely can acknowledge and understand the challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis being in business. But my question to you is, you mentioned about transparency and lack of transparency. You also mentioned that you're extremely busy in your salon. Is that the reasoning for denying the inspection? Did you feel like you can make an appointment and then coming, or were you just too busy to do it at the time? What was the reasoning behind denying those inspections?
I was really busy. When I'm in the salon, I had been very busy, and I was hoping that she could make an appointment where I could dedicate 100% of my time to her, to go through the salon with her. Clearly wrong. Part of the advice I was receiving, which was wrong, absolutely flat out wrong. So if by the grace and understanding of the board, I get this license back and I'm back in the salon, that will be the priority. They get to come no matter what. That will be the priority. So I will just have to step away from my client and take the time to do what I need to do. That's just what will have to happen, period.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry. And I just want to acknowledge and echo what Ms. Crabtree said. A lot of the information is listed on the website, so we probably encourage you to check out the website, especially the self-inspection list. which is extremely helpful just to give you a guide as to what to look for throughout your salon in the future.
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right, I believe we've gone through all the board members present, but I'll ask in case any members have thought of any subsequent questions. Do any of the board members have any further questions? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Lowry, you're excused as a witness, and my understanding you do not have any other witnesses you would like to call, correct?
Correct.
All right. Mr. Arthur, do you wish to give a closing?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lowry, you may give your closing argument.
I don't really have anything more to say that you haven't heard me say, other than that I absolutely understand that the board is a licensing agency. It has the authority to inspect. I am willing to take classes to prove an understanding of the board rules and regulations, if that's what I have to do to get this licensing back. I want you all to know I clearly have learned my lesson from listening to anyone else in the community who thinks they know, because they clearly don't know. That was really, really, really wrong on my part. I made that mistake. I know it was flat out wrong. I will never make that mistake again. I honestly hope that the board can deem me worthy of this again. I just want to say that I'm willing to go and do the studying of, just like you guys have suggested this morning. And I just hope for the grace and understanding that this can happen for me again. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lowry. So that concludes the hearing on Ms. Lowry's petition. The record's closed and the matter is submitted, and we are off the record. And Ms. Lowry, so as I mentioned before, procedurally, after the board hears the second petition, the board will adjourn to closed session to deliberate on your matter, and then you'll receive a copy of the final decision by mail later on. But what you will receive before that is a copy of today's court reporter's transcript. So if we were in person, the court reporter would be filling out a form that has his firm name and the case number and his name and things of that nature, in case you wanted to order a copy of the transcript in the future. But since we're not in, and then he would give that to you. But since we're not in person, what will happen is we'll forward that to you probably by email. So that will come within the next day or so. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
At this time, I do not, but thank you.
Okay, and let me check with the court reporter. Mr. Court Reporter, when you're ready, if I could get a page estimate, and also, do you have any, need any spellings?
I don't need any spellings. Page estimate is 30.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Lowry, so you are free to disconnect at this time if you would like, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. President, shall we proceed to the next matter, or would the board like a break?
If the board's okay, we could take a break perhaps after the next matter, and it would be probably okay to proceed.
Okay, very good. So I will call the next matter, which is Joanna Velador's matter. All right, Ms. Velador, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes.
Yes, very good. All right, so let's go ahead and go on the record. Let me switch my files here. All right, so we're here on the record before the State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology, Department of Consumer Affairs, State of California, in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of Joanna Velador It's agency case number PR 2021-14922, OAH number 2021-100188. My name is Quorum Wong. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings. May I please take the appearance of the Deputy Attorney General?
Good morning, Philip Arthur from the Attorney General's Office.
Good morning. And Ms. Velador, if I could just have you confirm for the record that you could hear me okay?
Yes.
Very good. And did you hear the kind of procedural summary that I went over before the prior petition?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about the procedure?
No, not right now.
Okay. If you have any questions during the hearing, please feel free to ask.
Okay.
All right. To establish a quorum for the record, I request that each member respond audibly after his or her name is called. President Weeks?
Yes.
Vice President Tam?
Present.
Ms. Crabtree?
Present.
Ms. Ellis?
Present.
Ms. Fairley?
Present.
Mr. Estel?
Here.
Mr. Matos?
Here.
And Ms. Tran? And Ms. Tran's the only member who did not respond, so let the record reflect that there is a quorum. All right. Mr. Arthur, would you like to present the packet and provide your summary?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, please. I'm appearing on behalf of the Attorney General in accordance with Government Code Section 11522. I'm here to assist the board in fact-finding. My role is not adversarial, but is intended to protect the public interest. I am here to ensure the board has adequate information from which to make a decision. In this case, Ms. Velador became a licensed cosmetologist on November 15, 1995. On August 10, 2006, the board issued an establishment license to Ms. Velador for Lucy's Beauty Salon. Effective January 10, 2010, both licenses were placed on a 2-year term of probation via stipulated settlement, which was based on an accusation that alleged Ms. Velador was grossly negligent and incompetent for a hair coloring treatment she performed in 2007. Effective September 2, 2011, Ms. Velador's licenses were revoked via a default decision, which was based upon a petition to revoke probation that alleged Ms. Velador failed to comply with several terms of her probation. Of the $5,000 ordered in cost recovery, Ms. Velador owes $478. On March 4, 2009, Ms. Velador was issued an establishment license for Hair Pros. Effective March 13, 2020, her establishment license was surrendered via a stipulated surrender, which was based on an accusation alleging that on March 29, 2019, Ms. Velador was working without a license because her cosmetologist license had been revoked in 2011. She made a fraudulent misrepresentation to her client by accepting payment for barbering services. I'm sorry. She made a fraudulent misrepresentation to her client by accepting payment for barbering services when she was unlicensed, and she failed to display the license of an employee working at her establishment. The entire balance of $1,572.50 in cost recovery referenced in the stipulated surrender remains outstanding. Ms. Velador now seeks reinstatement of her cosmetologist license. If I could have marked as Exhibit 1 the petition packet and then briefly summarize what it consists of.
Yes, the packet's so marked.
The packet consists of the petition itself, as well as Ms. Velador's Barbicide COVID-19 certification, Barbicide certification dated May 12, 2021. It also includes 4 character reference letters. The exhibit also includes Ms. Velador's license history certification. It includes the final default decision in case number D as in Delta 1, 2007-1051, revoking Ms. Velador's cosmetologist and establishment licenses, as well as the petition to revoke probation. Exhibit 1 includes the stipulated settlement and disciplinary order in case number B as in boy, C as in cat, 2007-1051, as well as the underlying accusation. The exhibit includes the stipulated surrender of license and order in case number B as in boy, C as in cat, 2018-23140, as well as the underlying accusation. The exhibit includes correspondence between the board and Ms. Velador regarding today's hearing. And finally, it includes the notice for today's hearing. I move to submit Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Ms. Velador, do you have any objection to Exhibit 1 being admitted for all purposes?
No.
Okay, 1 is so admitted.
And because the burden is on Ms. Velador, I have no further statement, but we reserve the right to question her. And I would also like to respectfully inform the board that in accordance with paragraph 5 of the disciplinary order in case number B as in boy, C as in cat, 2018-23140, Ms. Velador must pay the $1,572.50 in cost recovery before the license can be reinstated. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Velador, do you have, now's your opportunity to present your evidence in support of your petition. Do you have any additional documents you want to have marked and admitted?
No, I don't.
Okay, and did you ask any witnesses to attend today's hearing on your behalf?
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and swear you in at this time. If you would raise your right hand, please.
Mm-hmm.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you may put your hand down. If I could just have you start by stating and spelling your full name for the record, please.
My name's Joanna Velador. It's JOANNAVELADOR.
All right, so when you're ready, you may begin your testimony. And I'd just like to remind you that what the board is most interested in is hearing about any rehabilitation you have undergone since the discipline of your licenses.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say I'm so happy that you guys are taking this time to give me the opportunity to hear me out. I believe all this time I just didn't even pay attention to a lot of things that I was advised back then when the accusations and all that happened. I had an attorney. I realized that most of the attorneys out here that really they study the law, but they really don't know much about cosmetology, the board, or nothing like that. So after everything happened, I had no idea that I had to go to report to a probation officer. I had no idea that even existed in this type of field. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to behave. I'm not going to do nothing that I don't want to be even on your radar or nothing. But I didn't know I had to do reports or, check in. I just didn't know that. After that, I just went through a lot of stuff in my life, so I kind of let it go. I believe in with the license, the renewals, I kept just paying. I got everything till November 2013, but by August 2013, when I paid for my renewal for the 2 years, I didn't receive it, but I didn't really pay much attention and not getting it because I wasn't really working. So by the next time when I had to renew it, that's when I gave a call to the board, to the number for the cosmetology, and the gal that answered helped me out and told me, for some reason it didn't appear that it had been suspended or revoked, because she just told me, oh, it's getting through, just make sure if you have an inspector go there, keep your receipt. And I said, okay, fine. But because of my life problems I've had, I just did not pay attention. By 2016, I had already moved out of the address that you guys had, where you guys were sending me all these mails trying to get a hold of me saying, what I had done wrong, or, I had no idea. I was like, this was a big deal already. And so I think it was about 2017, I got a hold of Ebony or Evelyn, I'm not quite sure, from the probation section. And that's when I started knowing that you guys had this big old area or section that you could help people out if they get in trouble, or just even to update on any different stuff that, the board or any of the regulations change or anything. So that's when I just started talking to Ebony, and I realized, oh yes, I'm in big trouble now, because all this happened and I never presented myself. I never even got a hold of whatever you guys sent me back or anything. And like I told Anthony, I thought by having an establishment license, the business, I thought you guys would send me the letters there too. I never thought it would be sent to my home where I wasn't living at anymore. So all that was just a big mistake from my side, because I assumed so many things that were going to happen, but now I know it was up to me to get a hold of all you guys or the board to, know what I'm doing wrong or something. I didn't know I had to do all those reports or any of the hours that I saw on the booklet that I got. So, like I said, I was just misled from someone else, and it's all my fault too. But I wish I could just have the opportunity to start over, and hopefully you guys could give me that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Arthur, cross-examination.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Velador.
Good morning.
What have you learned from the surrender of your establishment license and revocation of your cosmetologist license that will assist you in not repeating the conduct described in those accusations?
Well, I know your website exists. I know that you guys have a lot of areas where there's people that can help me. It has nothing to do with our regular civil court. It has nothing to do with just the regular lawyer that represents out here, not in the cosmetology area. And so now I know that there's people in the website where I could they'll help me if I'm not sure of something.
And then in line with that last question, what assurances can you offer to the board that similar misconduct will not be repeated?
Like I said, I just know a little bit more about I was in beauty school. I was taught the regulations. I was taught to listen to them, to obey them, to just go by them. But honestly, it didn't ever said that once you get in trouble, guess what? There's a probation officer. There's this. I don't ever remember being taught that. And now that we're able to go through the website and look through all that, there's so many information in there on the board of the DCA. So just with that, it helps everybody, because if you go talk to a regular lawyer out here, they don't know. They really don't know. They give you the wrong advice because legally they don't know what they're supposed to tell you, but they think they know. So, and just by that, we just think, oh, okay, we're doing good. But it wasn't like that.
Why do you want your cosmetologist license reinstated?
Because throughout these years, I had so many girls that came and wanted to work with me or just work at the salon, and it is just an environment that just gives you life, makes you happy. And the clients itself, when you get someone that needs you, it's just it's a feeling that you like.
What assurances can you offer to the board that if your cosmetologist license is reinstated and if it were to be placed on probation again, that you would comply with the terms of probation?
Well, now because I have Anthony, that you guys have provided him to be able to help us, the ones that don't know better or didn't know, And that's like a number one help right there.
If your petition is granted and your license is reinstated, how would you reimburse the board for the amount due and cost recovery?
I had spoken to Anthony about that, and he mentioned that maybe I could do payment plan.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Velador, do you have anything else you would like to say on your behalf?
No, thank you. Hopefully you guys could give me a second chance.
All right, thank you. I'll turn it to the board for questions. First, Mr. Matos, do you have any questions?
Not at this time, thank you.
Mr. Isbell?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Ms. Fairley?
No questions at this time.
Ms. Ellis?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Crabtree?
Yes, I have a couple questions. So first, I wanted to ask you, do you understand what happened as to why this all came about at first, as far as what happened during the service that you gave to this individual in
Yes.
a chemical service? Can you explain to me?
I just, what I did is, do you want me to explain you what I did with the procedure or what I've learned from it?
You don't have to go into the whole procedure per se, but what you learned from it, please.
I just learned that when someone tells you they don't have their hair dyed black and no perm under that, I shouldn't trust. And also the patch test. I have done her a couple of times before, but I wasn't aware that the regulations have changed on that you have to do the procedure every time you have a client sitting down for a color. That was another thing about the regulations that I saw on the website, that you guys constantly update certain things that when I got my license, that wasn't the way it's supposed to be. And it just changes. So that's what I learned, that I got to go and just keep updated with everything, that something changed. Just even with being a woman, I know that we just, we have to do patch tests on women. So that's what I learned.
Okay. Patch test is done on everybody, male or female. But also my other question then is, you stated that when you were this hearing was done and you were given all of this information as to continuing education, to requiring to submit for probation and all the other information that you were supposed to do. How did you read this information when it was given to you?
I don't recall. I honestly, I do not recall. Like, those years were not really good for me, so I don't recall. I just think how it was very dumb not to make it a priority, but I just don't recall that. And then when I met with the patch test, just doing it on women, it was more important, was because my doctor had mentioned that as being a woman, every year our hormones change. So if we're not allergic to certain things, we could be allergic next year. And that's why it's more, because of being a hair salon, it's more girls instead of guys. But now we have more guys, yeah. But we do both now. But I just meant for women because the client was a girl.
And so you're saying that you didn't know about this, but you did pay some money along the way, so you knew something was going on, obviously, with making.
Well, I remember the money I had to pay because my lawyer told me. I had a silver lawyer go to state board in San Diego, and like I said, I should have not picked him or anyone out here because he wasn't really well informed of the other stuff or consequences or anything like that. So I just remember him telling me about the payment.
Right, but I'm just looking at the date and the timeline. I mean, you had something happen in 2010, the decision making on probation, then in 2011, and then they came back in 2018 and 2019. And so over that course of almost 9 years, you were continually doing hair without
No,
a
I had the business, I believe in 2015 or 16, that's when I realized something was wrong with my license. And then on 2017, I had one of the girls she was the one that taught me the website and showed me that it says there that my license was revoked. And that's how I became aware of my license being revoked because of the website. And it was one of the gals that was working in the salon with me that told me, and I said, "What do you mean?" And that's how I got a hold of Ebony. I don't remember her name, but I guess Anthony took her place. But and that's ever since then I try to fix this.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
All right, Madam Vice President, any questions?
Thank you. Yes, I have a few questions. Ms. Velador, you mentioned that you did some research related to the reason why you were initially put on probation back in 2010 regarding the coloring service. Can you tell us more about, when you did that additional research, when in time after this disciplinary action happened?
Yes, I did. I also had the experience by one of my clients. She started her niece started doing Cosmo, and she let her do her hair, and she used I don't recall the brand of the bleach, and my client she went into like shock and had to go to the ER, and she's just swelled up and had an allergic reaction. So then later she calls me and tells me about it, and she goes, "What brand do you use?" And I told her the brand that I use, but I told her that that's what I have learned throughout the time because I had all my clients knew what had happened with my problem that I had that time, and so they actually knew more of the client, and that's how I knew she had a perm under the black dye, and I wasn't told about that. She actually didn't. I asked her and she said no, so I trusted that. But so throughout that time, that's when I started realizing that, like I said, my doctor's the one that said, because I'm allergic to so many things. So he's just said, because of our hormones, we change every year. So it makes sense if you do a patch test more all the time when, a client sits for the color, because we might be allergic today or tomorrow and we don't know it. So I realized that that's a big issue. I've never had a client go to the ER because they're allergic to a product or chemical, but it's scary. So I just realized that with that, I learned all that it's very, very serious.
So I apologize, Ms. Belver. I'm not clear on when you say that you learned this. Was it just over time, or did you actually research the matter afterwards?
It was throughout the thing is, with the salon, I had girls working, and they, fresh girls license or whatever, and then they tell you certain things, and then it's just learning I mean, you literally, if you're allergic to something, you put it on your finger, you swell up. It does, if you're so allergic to certain things. So we just started testing stuff like that or even, like I said, I asked my doctor about it because it's just, I told him it's a very serious matter. And I've told the girls that work with me at the salon, when someone tells you, no, my hair's not, there's nothing under there, no, I'm naturally black, you got to learn that don't do it. Don't, because this is what happened to me. So throughout the time, we just go on the website and just kind of look through your guys' regulations or anything that changes, or just any type of video that you look at people that they do a lot of videos about, you know, oh, you know, this lady lied and look at, you could tell, or just do a little test strand and stuff like that.
Thank you. You mentioned that you've mentioned several times that you looked a few things up on the website. Can you speak more about what you've learned from the website, and then also have you looked anywhere else for information to keep about regulations?
Well, I just looked on your guys' website because you guys have what it is. Well, I mean, there's, if you Google certain things or if even videos, they're not really from the board, you know, so it's always the majority of the girls that work with me, they tell me, yeah, just go on the website. They have everything, anything updates. It's just, you guys have pretty much is what we're supposed to follow. And if, you know, if I Google something else somewhere that's not on your website, then pretty much I'm not going to be able to trust that. So it's all on your, just anything. I mean, just when was that law passed where you're allowed to give people 2 alcohol drinks or something? I was like, really? And just anything, pretty much with the girls work there, they kind of educated me more on everything that's updated. And the website does the same thing, but it has to be the website for the one you guys put up because it has all the regulations and rules there.
Last question. You mentioned that you realized there was something wrong with your license or that it had been revoked. You mentioned 2015, 2016, maybe 2017. But I see that you were cited back in 2018 and 2019 for performing services without a license. Why did you continue to provide services after you knew that your license had been revoked?
So that day when I got you know how they give you the form and it says the copy where what you got ticket for? I didn't have it didn't say I got a ticket for non-license. When you guys send me the bill or whatever it's called, that's where it said, and then I was in shock to see that. So I was appealing that. I don't know if it shows that I tried to appeal it, but then COVID hit and I just dropped everything. When I spoke to Shelly about it, she just, you know, told me, oh, well, since you, because I had sold the business, she goes, since you sold it, so I just got kind of convinced just to drop the appeal because I was appealing all that.
The inspector, when you were given these citations, didn't explain why you were being cited?
No, honestly, no. And the truth is that when she came in, I believe the first time when I met her, because I asked her, oh, you're new, because I always had another lady coming in. And by that time, I'm the one that told her that that my license was revoked and that I wanted to see if she had a way to help me get a hold of somebody so I could start the process of what I'm doing now. So she wasn't aware. She goes, I had no idea your license was revoked. And she looked me up and that's when she realized it was revoked. And I said, yes, I just don't know. And then she just asked me, why do you wear a smock? And I said, oh, it's part of our uniform. But pretty much in the salon there, I was out more. I wasn't there a lot. I had a lot of I had so many personal problems and I just wasn't there. I always had the girls working there and they were all licensed. But yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Velador. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. President, any questions?
Yes, just a quick question. This case is particularly struck a bell with me because I believe it's the most egregious example of professional incompetence I've seen in our profession since I've been on the board. What you did was very serious. You continued to perform without the proper license. You admitted that you have really no knowledge of our laws. You intend to, but can you, if you're going this far and not adhering to them? You've not complied with our probation requirements. I guess my question is, why should we believe you will or even can comply with these regulations now?
The first time I was misled, I had a lawyer. I thought he knew better than anybody, but now I know it's not like that. And I know that this time I have Anthony. He's been great, helping me out, educating me on what I have done wrong, why I should have known better, everything. And I believe with him helping me throughout, if you guys really help me and consider me giving me a second chance, I know that with Anthony and your guys' help, I would do a lot better and not violate what I violated on my probation, which I had no clue. It's just, like I said, I wasn't informed or educated right on that.
All right, I have no further questions.
All right, I believe we've gone through the whole board, but I'll check to see if any members have thought of any subsequent questions. Are there any further questions by any members of the board? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Valador, you're excused as a witness. Mr. Arthur, do you wish to give a closing?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Valador, you may give your closing.
I just wanted you guys to, I want to thank you for hearing me. And I know it's like, it doesn't make sense not knowing so many things that I did wrong, but it's the truth. I was not informed right. And I hope you guys give me a second opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Valador. So the record's closed, the matter's submitted, and we are off the record. Mr. Court Reporter, if I could get a page estimate when you're ready, and do you need any spellings?
I do not need spellings. Page estimate is 30 pages.
Thank you. So, Ms. Valador, as I mentioned previously regarding the procedural format, the board will now adjourn to closed session to deliberate on your petition and the other petition, but you will not receive a decision today, but rather you'll receive one later on in the mail. What you will receive, in the next couple of days is a copy of the court reporter's billing form. And that's just in case you want to order a copy of today's transcript. That will have all the information you need to go about doing that. Okay? Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, so you are free to disconnect if you don't have any questions. All right, Mr. President, I will turn the matter back to you.
Thank you very much. Good job in the hearing. And the do any board members need a break for any reason? Would you want a 5-minute break, or you want to just continue on at this point?
I'm good continuing.
Okay, why don't we do this? Are we now in a position where we're in closed session for the to make a decision?
This is go ahead.
Sorry, the moderator should be telling you. They're going to move you all into a different room, and then we can start our discussions.
Great.
Yep. This is the moderator. Let me go ahead and get the closed session set up. So I will pause that recording.
And I'm going to leave. Thank you guys for having